I am live, y'all. If you know that I always wait to make sure I see signs that it is filming and you're catching everything, kudos to you. Welcome to this episode of That Suspect. Or maybe not. Now, it's been a couple of days since I've been live because I've been working, y'all. Because apparently you got to work if you want to eat. But in my situation, I'm working a lot and barely eating. Y'all know what I'm talking about? So that's suspect, apparently. After I've just been through, doing a spiritual detox, spiritually detoxing, inhaling that good product and releasing all of that ninja activity, ninjas of all colors, I just feel like now I'm copacetic and feasible. How about you? Share alive. Now, you know, contracts is what's popping now. There's a lot of contracts. I said contracts, not contracts, but that's suspect. Contracts. Y'all signed any good contracts lately? Because I haven't. One of the angels said that ninja mad because he got woo-wopped and molly-wopped. And I said, I picked that up in the reading. I tried to told you, but you wasn't listening with the good ear. Y'all see anybody chase anything? Because I have. You ever just been watching some content and you can't figure out if it's funny or not, and then somebody do something suspect? I was watching something, and, it was an emotional wreck, but it was a truthful moment, you know? He said, you ninjas is gritty. And when he got full of that liquid courage, y'all know what I'm talking about? He said, after he chased, I ain't never seen somebody do 6 chasers. He was like, give me Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, and orange juice, because this is a MF. I laughed so hard. I said, what hood he from? Because that is a chaser for real. And you did it on camera. I know that I am not demure and cookie cutter. But when I used to, take them back like that, I didn't use no chaser. You know what I'm talking about? That must be the archangel in me. You know what I'm talking about? I said in me, not on me. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it took me a minute. I was like, all right. First of all, he needed the courage that is liquid to address it. And I imagine he's been spending weeks trying to fix that moment. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we do things in a moment, in a second, that disrupts the peace all around ourselves. Not me, but him. He had a Coke, Sprite, lemonade, Pepsi, and orange juice after he took that swig. I said, boy, he ain't from the hood like I thought. Because how many chasers you need? That's suspect. Then I said, who this dude with? And then they all came out. They said he don't know who he playing with. Because first of all, the principalities of the matter means that there's a Shekinah up in the building. And when that happens, you need chasers. You ever just realize that things have been geared in such a way to make you believe people is body and rowdy, but when you look at them, you could tell, like, it's just something about them. You know what I'm saying? You look at them and you say, they not really about that life. You know, they're about their contracts and that fine print. Apparently, someone did not read the fine print, and I tried to told you 3 years ago. But y'all be so quick to rush off into that fame sphere. Then you realize it's a 70-30 split. You know what I'm saying? That's another duality to a 70-30 relationship. You know what I'm talking about? In its physical form. And I do mean 70-30. Says 70-30. They doing ninjas dirty. Know what I'm talking about? I kind of felt like I was in the wrong business. Could you imagine me being a producer? Oh, man. They be really crying. They be, look, I want to see you on your knees, please. I want to hit you where it hurt, in your pocket. I said in your pocket. Because I'll be sitting there talking about, it's copacetic and it's feasible, just like they do. And then when it come time to sign again, you done signed your life away. Something like what they do when they talk about the devil not finna get mine. The devil had yours in the beginning, and the devil's going to continue to have yours because you sold your soul eons ago. And he comes to collect, just like the Grim Reaper. Y'all be trying to blame the devil, and you know your mama did it. Your mama sold you out from the womb to the tomb. That's suspect. You know, a lot of stuff don't bit much move me until you try to throw that old rhetoric in after you already know it's not copacetic and feasible. So anytime I hear Satan and the devil, I have to come in because just like you did when you was first incarnated, you wanted to blame the ones that helped you, which is typical for Osifios. You wanted to blame them then, which conveniently they were black men, and you still want to do it. That's suspect. Y'all seen any suspect blaming taking place? Because I have. Apparently, Satan is the ruler of Hollywood, and we all know that that is not correct. You know, people can't figure out who they want to blame. They're not going to blame the person that they signed with because it's all right. So it's network. When you sign with someone that is devilish, and then when you get a big foot that is white in your keister, you decide it's the devil's fault. That's suspect. By the way, y'all seen any Panthers that is black? Because I haven't. I said, have you seen any Panthers that is black? The one that I know is a female Panthera that is black. Oops. You know, you ever just be watching something and then realize it's an epiphany? You have a light bulb moment and you start to understand, overstand, and understand. Y'all like that? What the technicalities and the principalities is all about when the powers that be introduce themselves to your children. Why no one say it was the powers that be that I shook hand that is the culprit? Why y'all always want to blame the underworld? Oh, because you couldn't be their spouses, male or female. That's what I know is a fact. So I'm archangel, amongst other things, but we're not going to get into that because as soon as I say what I am spiritually in a hierarchy, somebody's going to say that they are that too. And I didn't spend years creating a protocol so that won't be any longer. I sit there, I say, all of this sassafras and won't, and no one ever comes to ether with the smoke. I wonder why. They're going to say it's because ether's not popular enough. They don't want the smoke because they already know what happens. So let's just, if you know you've ran across my content, because you have, we gonna stop saying that the underworld is the cause of your problem when you know it's you. Because what's gonna happen is I'm going to start addressing you by your name. Because you still want to facilitate an old rhetoric because you feel like you're going to trend if you say the devil and Satan. We know they're popular. I said Satan. Satan. You want to hear Lucifer. And Lucifer ain't messing with you. Y'all better start understanding that these is the ones that want the underworld. I'm for sure about it. They all got spouses though. They had them when they was first created, and they have them now. Because guarantee you, somebody mama will be sitting there with their legs gapped open for Satan and Coupe de Ville, which we know is Damien. Come on, let's just dissect that. Let's look at every ninja in the world that was ever named Damien. Wasn't he fine? Y'all gonna act like you don't know the devil is the class and Damien is his name. Truth talk. I said Damien is his name. Come on now. We got Satan, Lucifer, Damien, Jezebel. With names like that? Come on. And Ball say he always ball it out. When we start talking about Thanos and Sarpas, y'all want them too. I said, the knockers is knocking. They knocking. And not like your raggedy beat in your trunk. I've been wanting to talk about the chaser for a couple of days. They say, nah, Ethan, no. Because he look, when he got into the camera, his eyes got big, like shady gray. Remember that uncle? Every time he would take him back too much, he would open up his eyes. That's a spirit. That's a spirit there. When I start talking about individuals, the ones that already know who I'm talking about, say, that's why he acting like that. Let me tell you something. I could be walking around here with roaches in my shoes because apparently people acting like they ain't never had no roaches. And they still want me because of who I am. Yep. I heard Jesus say, he don't care what I look like. And you know how many of those Osophios said, he is with Ether. Then they said, Fig, do you know that JC Bassell is with Ether? And it was silence. Why y'all so nosy? You can't really get it popping like you want because you want me hidden. You want to be able to say sassafras and whoomp, whoomp, whoomp is together. But then it's a variable there. The variable is the underworld. There's so many right now that want to know if they could be friendly or maybe not. And that's suspect. The ones that are running around here saying that they're beasts and savages and all of that have now been introduced to the original beasts, savages, and ogars, not agars. You do know that an ogar is something like a thug, a thuggy. Y'all say y'all want that demon eggplant, and then when you get it, you say, not that one, I want the angel one. Because now they understand that there's a difference. Now you could be, let me explain what I'm talking about. Now you could be black, right? But what kind of black are you? I'm not talking about colors, because we all know is a light-skinned black, middle black, and everything in between, and dark-skinned black. What kind of black are you? Because when I said there's a fraction of angels that are demon, and Damien, everybody conveniently thought that all of the D class were archangels. And they're not. That's why I said they want the underworld, because they want superior offspring. When I said that everybody in the industry wants to be royal, like the originals, I meant that. Now, we all can sit here and say, that, because apparently black people are the ones that like gold and diamonds and all of that stuff. We're not the only ones, but, where you think that came from? What you think they was just sitting around, with roaches in their shoes? Why y'all hating on roaches? Roaches ain't do nothing. Roaches ain't do nothing to you but crawl in your ear, maybe, in your nose when you was asleep, depending on where you was at, Portal. Y'all be sitting here because y'all got some zeros attached to y'all name. Y'all acting like roaches is a bad thing. Now y'all wanna hate on the roaches. Y'all know where y'all wanna direct y'all Isekiana to. Y'all know y'all wanna be mad at the roaches now? The roaches was there before you came. The roaches said, this has always been my apartment, my project, my home. We always been here. Ain't no amount of paint gonna make us vacate. It's just gonna hold us off a little bit. That's where you got when the paint dry from. When the paint dry, everything that wasn't noticed is gonna be noticed. No primer on them. Because that's why it happens. Because there's no primer on the walls. Y'all, look, y'all hating on poor people. Y'all hating on single mothers. You're hating on the dudes that gave you the D eggplant and then vacated and left you with a child. You hating on everybody. He hating because he didn't get the one that he wanted. That is definitely a demon. She decided that she needed someone younger. All this hating going on. Why we can't just be loving light? I want to be loving light today. See, I'm glowing. Like the top of that star that is still up on your Christmas tree. I am glowing. You ever just thought that you need a year-round tree? Because she have. Because apparently she feels like she's protected the most during Christmas time, so she's going to leave her tree up. Because that star is a symbol of David, which is Solomon. What is your name? Yo, hey, somebody come through and say, what is your name? You're going to be like, what? My name is Shavasha. Y'all be sitting here acting like y'all is so fearful and y'all really want them. You want to be able to sit back and talk. You want them to talk to you at night and wake you up kissing you and stuff spiritually. Y'all be faking. They don't know who they want. They say, I call him Silky Smooth. Satan? I call Satan silky smooth like satin. These is considered my uncles. And some, my universe fathers. Ain't none of that going on. I know y'all wanna say Idris in there. Now, I got one spouse that is a spiritual spouse. And ever since he was introduced into my life, there's no other room for anyone but Jeezy Bessel. Because they all want Jeezy too. I know y'all want to know I am not creeping, nor am I sneaking or sleeping with Jeezy Bessel. When I am with Jeezy Bessel, that means I'm in D territory. That means ain't nothing that is considered a demon or Damon is going to even be able to talk to me. That's how it works. And they will say, that's my wife. But it don't mean what y'all think it means. Because even the wife word, in a sense, means something totally different to the underworld. So they can say that's my wife, and it'll be dual meanings. Now, the ones that they were actually married to, they don't like none of them. I said none of the fraction of the underworld like the wife that they married to in any life. Because if they is really their person, they're going to say, that's my spouse. That is my wife. It's different for them. It's spiritual in nature. Now, it's so many that want to say that that's their spouse when they know that is a contract that they made themselves. Now it's my spouse that I am married to because they want to make it appear like it's a spiritual partnership, and it is not. And the big G, not the little g being Jesus, knows it. I said you got to give God the glory, not his son. Remember, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost? What do you think the Holy Ghost is? Because y'all sitting up there saying, Lord, thinking you're talking about Jesus. Y'all think Jesus is God. Y'all all messed up. at least I know that there is a hierarchy. I know that there's a difference between the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost. And most certainly the Lordship, because that's the part they left out. Y'all say, I give thanks to the Lord, and you don't know who is the Lord in your region. And y'all feel like you're fooling somebody. This is why all the heathens left the church. Because they said, hey, it's too many Pentatons up in here. I can't breathe correctly. And when they came in the bodies of Osifios. And they said, we about to blow it up in here. Then it was the introduction into the fashion world in the church house. Y'all know what I'm talking about? We got to dress to impress in the church. What happened to come as you are? What happened to that? You know, the real mothers of the church understood that that's what was happening, and they decided to pay the background. And the ones that became truly mothers of the church bore witness to all type of atrocities that took place referring to the church in regards to the members of the church, and they decided that they would pray on it. P-R-A-Y, not P-R-E-Y. Because there was enough P-R-E-Y-ing going on in the homes of the members. Suspect. I said that when I see it, I'm going to start calling y'all out, because what comes next is how you got introduced into the thought of why you think the devil, which is Damien, that's his name, is the person that took over your child, when we know indeed it is a Osifio that did it. Because nobody sees when their child says, I give my life to Satan, the devil, I want millions, I want to be famous, and da, 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 da. And then something comes upon them like a harness sting, and they decide that it is truly Lucifer, Satan, the devil, Baphomet. And it's not. When y'all start understanding, because y'all be put in a situation where someone will accuse you of doing something to them, because it's happening to so many right now. Somebody's going to accuse you of doing something that you didn't do. Then you'll understand their role in his story and how they became the kings of the damned. I said the kings of the damned. Let's normalize calling a spade a spade. When you want another meal, you're not going to say who you really know is involved in a hot seat. You know what I'm talking about? Suspect. You're not going to say, y'all already know, I know. If I decide to name someone, they not going to do nothing. What they going to do? But sit and hope nobody see it. Because everyone that has already been damned sees zero when they watch my content. That's a sign right there. I didn't do it. The underworld didn't do it. You did it to yourself. Now she trying to figure out if it's a O and J in that house, a SBJ, a Pentagon. She don't know what's in there. We do. And I'm saying that it's going to remain in there. It's no matter how much sage you use or how much kitchen water that you think is holy water is sprawled about. And let me tell you, because I have to say it, black salt is something that a spiritual person creates not purchases, for it to be effective. Don't like that one, huh? Black salt has to be created by someone that is very high ranking for it to work. What they all do is trap what's already in there with the salt. In the minute, they're going to be moving you out. I know because it came out in the tier 6 reading. They said, this is my spot, busy. You should have never called us. Because I don't know why y'all feel like you could put back something that you released. You know who puts the stuff back that you release? Archangels like Damien, which is the devil, Lucifer, Baal, Serpus, Jezebel, Thanos, Satan. Just name a few. Ogun or Sophia ain't putting nothing back. He wanted to do what it needs to do to you. Why y'all be playing with the high ranking? You know, it's a group of individuals that already know not to do that with Ogun or Sophia. But for some reason, y'all feel like if y'all heard the stuff that they would say, you would say he was marked from the beginning. Even saying his name, he was marked from the beginning. I just wanted to come on and share with you all my thoughts and opinions on what is suspect. I'm sure it's going to be a whole bunch that comes about. And look, I'm ready for that liquid courage moment. If any of y'all is out there in these media streets on Satan's internet, not Hollywood, Satan is all over the internet. He is something like a spirit angel, a device angel, an integral spirit. You know what I'm saying? He is all up and through the wires and the cords, all up and through and around that VPN, which is not private. He is all up on that dark web because y'all should have never named it dark in the first place because that just gave him entrance. They're just moving about happy. You know, happy. They happy. You ever heard the term happy dark angel? Yeah. He said, I'm not going to call him Saint Michael no more because now they understand that all saints are demons first. See, this is why the Big G placed me here so y'all can understand what y'all utter. Listen, somebody can't figure out if they want to be Hollywood's friend or enemy. That's suspect. How you want to be somebody's enemy and friend? That's a frenemy. Look, this is how it goes. Listen, as long as I'm getting some zeros, we cool. The minute I ain't getting those zeros, I'm naming everybody. Y'all seen any of that content? Because I have. It's just been, people start dropping out the, and can I say, Bala is the son of Satan, not Lucifer. Why y'all feel like y'all know what y'all talking about? Bala is no joke. And I'm not talking about sassafras. Because we all know that we all know. Look, let me tell you, Bala is an integral spirit. When he come, you gonna know. And when you name yourself an archangel, you got the audacity of an audacious. That's something like foolish behavior. I already said I got the best circle. You know what I'm saying? I got the best circle. The ones that can't figure out if they want to be with me, if they know they need me, feeling like I don't show myself because I'm fat, which is not true. Y'all, listen, because it's hard for people to understand, right? I don't know why. Maybe because it's a media age, right? And everybody is using filters to correct their flaws. And, they're doing extreme dieting. They're not happy with themselves, right? And the ones that feel like they are the epitome of beauty decide that the first thing that they're going to do is flip on the camera. And if you happen to see a booger in their nose because they just woke up and they want to show everyone that their fresh face is camera ready, that is an embarrassing moment for someone that feels like they are the bee's knees, honey. Listen, it is a mysteriousness surrounding an all-black screen. I don't want to be somewhere and someone say, that's the angel. I don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want fame. I want that shmoney, honey. And not like they want. You know what I'm saying? They want to be billionaires. I just want to be able to take care of myself and leave something for my children. The ones that definitely ascended. They definitely did. I don't really. Ascension has levels. And some of you already know because you've been introduced back into your family dynamic. So when I see, when I hear stuff like, for instance, a sister tried to cap the other sister, this and that, and that is a sign of a hex on a generation. That is a sign of a lineage hex. So it's no big deal for me. But the average person that wants to sensationalize it is going to say, that is why she's not doing nothing for you, while hoping that you make it big enough to say the same thing about yours. That's what I said. The average person that is in support of what is taking place because it's trending wants to be able to say, the content creators, to their family the same thing. I'm not doing nothing for you. I very well know what's happening with that family. I'm not finna grab a deck and start saying to get information because they're celebrities. I don't care, to be honest. I know what is for who already without having to name drop. See, that's the filthiness with the tarot community. Is they feel like celebrities deserve it anyway. They want some public acknowledgement. They don't care if it's bad publicity. We're going to throw it up into the spiritual community. And those that are Asifios that want to do the same thing, they're going to be the first to run to it. Because typically anyone that is forthright and honest is not going to gravitate to an energetic pull of a celebrity without their permission. There's money in it. I'm not willing to go that low unless you take a first blow at me. I'm dropping it like it's hot, and I'm going to bounce on it like I want a baby boy. You know what I'm talking about? So, who else wants some of Debo? Hey, one of these Usafios said one time, it was about a year ago, they said I was the Suge Knight of the tarot community. I was like, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's the best thing anyone has ever said about me. That means I am gorilla mashing on these ninjas. Legally. Let me tell you something. Look, everyone that always wants to put it in the air where it's fair and say, look what happened to him, is always in fear of it happening to them. Why would it happen to me? Why would it happen to me? I don't do nothing illegal. I don't do nothing illegal. Now he's saying, wait a minute. They always say this is the reader that helps sassafras. This is the reason why this is all taking place. And yes, it is. It's absolutely true, but I don't get paid for it. So I'm not considered an employee. So if you know that, why would you put that in the air like it's balanced? Because it's not. I think I'm going to do a Scorpio pool. And when I do a Scorpio, y'all ought not say this is about JT the bigger figure, which is Fig. Because it won't be. Slurp, slurp. And I do mean a slurp. Who was it that said everyone in the industry, in the mainstream industry, you got to put the mainstream, is suspect? Everyone that wants to be at the top, that is a female. I done spent 30 years working on this body, eating right, eating the best gourmet food, doing everything that I can to make it appear like I am wealthy, and I still am not with baby. What? I'm still not with him. What? What? She's still not with him. You ever just sat back and said, who has the most money in the industry? That is really a hood ninja. Like, who has it? Is it Baby? Is it Master P? You mean the dude that's pushing oodles and noodles in your face? Yep, him. Why do they get old? They get old and start wearing Hawaiian shirts. Talking about they playing golf. Why they just can't stay young forever? I want the nah. Nope. No. No. Those be the ones that say, I'm going to jump in her body and when he lay down with her. They be doing spiritual stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They be sitting there like, how can I make him think about me? Can I send him visions of my face when he's doing it with her? They're gonna turn that nose on And when they told, turn that nose on, you go on next her, like you did the last one. They gonna turn all of them enzymes and chromosomes on up in that nostril area. And you gonna say she looked like she all right, but the inside ain't tight. You know what I'm talking about? That's suspect. Now, that it's gonna be a whole bunch of that. You know, I don't like, that's channeling, because I don't do that. I don't be doing that. Yeah. Some taste tangy. Tangy, salty, tangy. Do say he put barbecue on a roach. I laughed so hard. It took me a minute because, you know, the ones that initially I'd be like, I don't know if I want to. You know what I'm saying? They something else. Them is crossbreeds. Like, and you know, you don't really know. Like, you don't know if you can trust it or not, because they look kind of strange and unusual. Then you just be like, one day you just, you know, whatever. And you end up liking, you like that person, at least at that moment. Occasionally I run into that, because otherwise it's either I like you or I don't. It's a possibility that I can like you up until a certain point, right? It could be that you went somewhere and something attached to you, or the person that you had on top of you left some energy on you so they can manifest. I know that it's an example of it of late on Tier 6. This is a big one. He just running around. Y'all know it's a lot of Osafios that got y'all food right now, because they don't look to you like they look to me spiritually. I seen a whole bunch of Pinkertons that did not realize that that's where they were heading. And if y'all would see the way they look to me, you would say, I seen that in a movie. And it be the ones that y'all be thinking, you know what I'm saying, right now, you feel like they all right. They borderline knock, but they got money, so it's okay. They borderline knock, you know what I'm saying, addict. But it's okay because they got money, or you think they got money until they cried on the internet. Hey, you niggas is greedy. So, I just want to be able to feed my children and my wife. But since y'all only giving me 30% of my potential, I'm about to crash and burn right now because I need some money. Y'all see, listen, I seen something and I was like, Cap. I'm not even gonna say no names right now, but my ears hear correctly. Home Biscuit. I know that your bars do not defy space and time. His don't either, but they closer than yours. Now, we done already talked about this. You know who is running that region. So all y'all need to practice perfection. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You ever just know, you ever just see somebody that got bars in their hemoglobin. It's just, it's just, they bars is just flowing like they DNA, like it's built in. The gift of gab on a professional level. You know, I imagine he just sit back and say, if I would have known this when I was 18, my life would have been different. I say the same thing too, just some people can just grab a mic and say whatever, and everybody be like, fanned out. It take a lot to get me that way. I got to be sitting there tapping my foot. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, all right. Tap, 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 tap. Show you right. Tap, tap, tap. Okay. Because the minute you bring the other person in, they're just happy to be there. I don't want to hear the person that's just happy to be there. I want to hear somebody that's perfected the game already. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's legends. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear somebody that felt like if I had another chance, I would do. No. Y'all don't want me in the industry. Look, the BG, because I can sing, y'all know I can sing, and y'all know I can rap, right? I've already spent a life in the industry. And the BG said that's not my calling this time. Because of all the Asafios there. They trying to perfect the media. They feel like they're gonna recreate what they did in the industry with all the marginalizing and the backdoor deals with the radio. They feel like they can do that on Satan's internet. How dare they? You know, when they realize that they have to pay out more to trend. There's always going to be a content creator ready to fill that space. Always. But when you find out that it's populated with a whole bunch of bots and not real eyes, it's different. Because they'll be sitting there saying, you know how many views I got? You know how many subscribers I got? And half of them aren't even real people. I know the game. But to an innocent onlooker that definitely wants your spot and thinks that they rhyme better than you and look better than you. Matter of fact, they could consider themselves a triple threat. I know that they're not. But, that's the momentum that gives them the drive to replace you. And since they feel like all of the real figures is old, I know y'all not old, but they believe you are. After you done been handed all kind of punani, flipped it, dipped it, and rubbed it down, you kind of get tired, You're bumping and you're done. One bump done. One pump done. Because when they get up there in them 50s, some in their 40s, that's how it is. You don't need a whole drawn out thingamajiggy experience because it's not romance. It's just a pump and dump. When you get up there in age and, they didn't have it thrown upon them, they don't care. You might want to, do what she did, put some glowy balls up there, some direction signs, and hope that they follow. That's interesting. I know something that's really interesting on tier 6. Because y'all don't know nothing about that yet. Because if you did, it would be a whole bunch of cosmic activity taking place in your domain. Let's suspect. I said, it'll be I'm not gonna speak out of turn, but I want it to be more than 6 months before I release anything on 6 specifically, because I'm putting my hemoglobin, sweat, tears, toes, spiritual asakana up there. You know what I'm saying? When I release anything on tier 6, I want it to be a main event. I want everyone to come from different galaxies, regions, and say, she did a big one with that one. Because we know that's true, because we just seen it. I want it to be like that, There's nothing wrong with that. Copacetic and feasible for somebody like me, right? Let me tell you something. It's a whole bunch of ninjas that want to be in your studio right now that decided they needed a witch, because apparently that's what they thought I was. I'm not a witch. Because they see tarot cards and they figure, it's witchy. So when she came in there with her blue sage, he said, why I smell like that? And she said, this is just spiritual-ish, so to clean out all the energy. Y'all do know that sage is not something new for the producers in that region. They've been doing it because they've been knew you ninjas had attached to you. They say, sassafras coming. We about to, because we know he gonna come in. Look, we about to smoke it up. Because, certain classes of demons, when they smell it, they turn and go the other direction. They say, this one here, now you understand, that's a combo ninja. He got all kind of stuff. So when that one decided to leave at your front door and waiting for him to come out, the other entities that want to get on the mic decided that they was going to come in there. Because you can't get rid of entities with no type of sage. The ones that burn it didn't know it, The Palo Santos comes after they leave, because you don't want all of the energy that is good to go to them. You're going to wait until they leave. They did you a service, Granted, that Orfeo was waiting at the door and attached to you when you left out because you called it. He's lost his rigor. He don't, he don't have that. They want it every time they get on the mic. I didn't take it off of you. That female that you was with, that you said had gold in Punani did. She took it off of you. And now she's driving a BMW. You know what I'm saying? Because apparently that's where it wanted to be with her.